Well, there's nothing conservative about the Biden-McCarthy plan. It allows unlimited borrowing for 2 years beyond the next presidential election. They can spend as much money as they can possibly spend, borrow as much money as they want. No limits on borrowing for 2 years. Nothing conservative about that. Experts have estimated that they might borrow as much as $4 trillion in 2 years.
Well, others are saying it may be much more than that. That was, of course, Senator Rand Paul, who is a medical doctor, unlike Jill Biden. Just saying. And welcome back. Happy Thursday to you and what's left of the United States of America. Before I get back to Kevin McCarthy's open-ended deal, let me get to a couple of other items because there are a lot of other things going on in the United States of America, too. And I just mentioned something a couple of minutes ago, and then I got a couple of, because today is the beginning of Democrat Pride Month. It's Democrat Pride Month. It's all month long. Whip out your rainbows because it's Democrat Pride Month. But before I do, the Democrat Party is the party of open borders. We still, the 3 Marines that were attacked on the beach in San Clemente, California the other day by 40 Utes. 9 of those Utes, I told you yesterday, had been arrested. They did not reveal any of their names because they were all minors. They're minors that engaged in this behavior that we used to think of as being third world behavior. Not the kind of thing that we saw much of, certainly in the United States of America. And these Utes are completely out of control, wild in the streets. And I don't think that American values are being passed along in their homes. So we talked about that, the attack on the 3 U.S. Marines. They were off duty. A mob of 40 Democrats attacked them. The 9 people arrested, all younger than 18 years of age, so their names were not made public. But that's, part of the third worlding of the United States of America, the un-Americanizing. And that Democrats waged war on American values for so long now. Can't even remember where it began. I think they started out attacking Leave It to Beaver, saying that that's fiction, because that's not what their households were like. So they decided to destroy Leave It to Beaver America, and they've been doing a heck of a job at doing that. Now, with that in mind, let me go to a story out of Frederick, Maryland. Frederick, Maryland is how far? An hour's drive outside of Washington, D.C., north of Washington, D.C. in Maryland, and it's a great town. It's a really cool town. I like it very much. I know people that live there. And we've been there for many things. My best girl and I got to fly in a B-17 out of the airport in Frederick, Maryland, thanks to our friend Dick Urey, who arranged the flight on the B-17. That was a good day. And Frederick is great. Restaurants, cool downtown, an hour outside of Washington, D.C., surrounded really by farmland and open land. It's, I guess, what do they call it? It's not a suburb. It's an exurb. Something like that. But here is the headline. Here's the headline from Fox 5 in Washington, D.C. 5 immigrants charged in murder of missing 15-year-old Frederick boy. Immigrants, well, and here are the mugshots of the 5 immigrants. They're a grim-looking bunch, these 5 immigrants. And the story out of Frederick, Maryland, authorities say they have arrested and charged 5 people in the murder of a teenage boy whose remains were found in a Frederick County State Park nearly 2 months after he was reported missing. Police arrested 21-year-old Alexis Alfredo Ayala Lopez, 23-year-old Jose Roberto Ramos Lopez, 29-year-old Ismael Lopez Lopez. Is he related to himself? 27-year-old Elmer Vladimir Reyes Reyes. Vladimir is Espanol for Vladimir, a lot of Soviet influence from the old days in Latin America. The Democrat Party here promoted that and sided with the Soviets most of the time. So, and also I'm wondering, is Lopez related to Reyes Reyes? And 20-year-old Ismael Ivan Rivera Canales, another Ivan. That's because of the Soviet Cold War influence. The Democrats here sided with the Sandinistas and not the Contras because they're not on our side. They arrested these 5 in connection with the death of 15-year-old Limber Lopez Funes. All 5 are members of the violent gang MS-13, police said, and they have each been charged with first-degree murder. So this is Frederick, Maryland. This is not downtown Los Angeles, California. This is not the Crips and the Bloods. It's not East LA. This is Frederick, Maryland. It's all over the country because of Democrat Party policies, Obama policies, Biden policies, Pelosi policies, Schumer policies, open borders, gangs, murder, children, again, being killed. Now, these people are all adults, the MS-13 members. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirmed with the Frederick County Sheriff's Office that all 5 of the suspects are non-citizens who are all in the country illegally. 5 illegal alien MS-13 members in the country, thanks to the Democrat Party murdering a 15-year-old. Funes, who was murdered, was reported missing from his Frederick, Maryland home on February 25th, 2023 by family members. Police say the following day they discovered a crime scene that indicated someone had been assaulted near where the boy had gone missing. That means there was blood all over the place. That's what that means. The search for Funes continued until human remains confirmed to be his were discovered on April 24th in the area of Gambrel State Park. And, you know, your state parks aren't what they used to be either, because you got gangs from Central America murdering teenagers there. Kind of takes the sheen off the blossoming lilies, doesn't it? Just amazing stuff. And they said, the police chief, Jason Lando, said in a statement, our team spent countless hours following leads, conducting searches all over the county, hoping to find Limber alive and well, but sadly that did not happen. They said that they had all kinds of evidence, including videos. They have digital, video, and forensic evidence. So I'm guessing that they made videos of them beating the teenager to death in all probability, because that's commonplace these days. And this, make no mistake, is the Democrat Party's doing. Period. Period, period, as Joe Biden would say when they put an ellipsis in the teleprompter. So we've got that going for us. Also on the Democrats' docket here, CNN used to be a news organization. The headline is, Pentagon cancels drag show at Air Force Base as Pride Month begins. CNN is angry. It's a Democrat Party front group also. CNN is angry that the Air Force has canceled the drag show. It's a drag show for all ages on the military bases because the Democrats, you know. The Pentagon forced an Air Force base in Nevada to cancel a drag show, upsetting CNN, at the start of Pride Month that had already been approved, according to 3 officials familiar with the situation. They didn't entirely trust the first 2, so they went and they got a 3rd official. The drag show at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada was scheduled for June 1st, that's today, and recognizes the importance of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender service members and civilian personnel. This is what CNN is writing here. According to a military official, it would have been the 3rd annual drag show at the Nellis Air Force Base, known as Home of the Fighter Pilot. It's Home of the Fighter Pilot, and the Air Force's Center of Advanced Fighter Training. Now, here's the thing. That's the, thank you for your service is the tired phrase that Democrats like to pretend they care about the military when they utter, and then they sneer when they turn their backs. And that was supposed to happen today to recognize the importance of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender service members and civilian personnel. And CNN is very upset that has been called off, and 3 people familiar with the situation told them. They're anonymous, of course. Despite the previous 2 events, now wait, when was the first drag show? Because if this is the 3rd annual one, and here we are, June 1st of 23, so June 1st, 21. Well, let's see, Joe Biden became president in January of 21, and then they started having the drag shows because of the importance of transgender members of the military. Gay, lesbian, that's kind of been dealt with long ago in the military and every place else. A couple of generations ago, I don't know what country these people grew up in, but the country I grew up in, all of this is old news. But now we got the transgender thing. And, of course, this is a drag show for all ages because the Democrats are, they're coming for the children. Just don't call them groomers. So it's amazing stuff. So despite the previous two events being held at the Air Force Base, this one was not allowed to move forward after the Pentagon, which is a big building with 5 sides, intervened on Wednesday, that's yesterday, according to 2 defense officials, are they anonymous too, forcing the base to cancel the event or move it to a different location. Isn't that terrible? Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has spoken in support of Pride Month in the military, saying in 2021 that, quoting now, the LGBTQ plus citizens have fought to defend the rights and freedoms of the founding of our nation to the Civil War. And that's what he said. Okay, that's great. Now that's wonderful. Let me go to another story because I know a lot of people in town. I've been here for quite a while now, and I was talking to a friend of mine, a senior law enforcement official, federal agency, and let me say that during the course of a conversation, my friend was telling me about a friend of his, career Central Intelligence Agency officer. Okay, I'm phrasing things a bit carefully here, but for good reason. And this senior career CIA officer returned to the mothership in Langley, Virginia, the George Bush Center for Intelligence out there off of 123. And when he returned, when you're at the CIA, I've been to the CIA a number of times, and the headquarters there, and when you are inside the building as a CIA employee, you are required to wear your badge, which is not a metal badge, but it's a plastic photo ID that shows that it's you and that you're a CIA employee, right? And you wear the badge, as it's called, on a lanyard, a thing around your neck, right? And when he came back to the mothership, he was issued a lanyard, and it was a rainbow lanyard. This is not today or yesterday because Pride Month starts today. This was months ago, not around Pride anything. He just got to the CIA under Joe Biden, and after the communist voting penitentiary phase, John Brennan ran the place into the ground, and he was issued a lanyard, and it's a rainbow lanyard, and it's a rainbow lanyard with like Central Intelligence Agency written on the rainbow and stuff. So you have your CIA rainbow lanyard to walk around the CIA headquarters at Langley, Virginia, right? And I said, wow, I was listening to this. Wow, that is nuts. Is that really true? And sure enough, you can go look on Al Gore's amazing internet, lanyard CIA Rainbow Pride, and they actually sell them, and it's got the CIA stuff on it here, and it says CIA on your rainbow lanyard, Central Intelligence Agency spelled out on your rainbow lanyard from the Central Intelligence Agency. And there's more, but wait, there's more, because going back to 2021, May 10th, 2021, just months after Joe Biden took over as president, another woke CIA recruitment ad makes waves. I noticed a rainbow on Brennan's lanyard, is the story from the Fox News Channel then. Humans of CIA ad features members of LGBTQ community who described himself as the agency librarian. So 2 years ago, and God bless America and all true Americans, but there he is. It's an ad that they put together. And you can find the video I did on Al Gore's amazing internet. And you can also find the rainbow lanyards. And the thing is, this career officer, when he was issued his lanyard, said, you know what, I've already got a lanyard that I kind of favor, so I'm going to use this one. And time after time, he would enter offices and meetings, and people would ask him pointedly, where's your rainbow lanyard? Because the Democrat Party is not what it used to be. Hey, it's official. Reports say that the banking collapse of 2023 is more devastating than the banking collapse of 2008. Is that possible? Yes. Right now, a series of global financial dominoes are falling, and it's not over yet. Everybody can see that. Don't wait for the email telling you, sorry, your account has been frozen. We've got to take action now to protect what we've worked so hard to build over the years. Time to call my friends at American Alternative Assets and request your free wealth protection guide. Give them a call at 888, the number 4, Gold 20. 888-4-GOLD-20. Call them right now, 888-446-5360. This invaluable guide will outline the precise steps that you need to take immediately to transfer your IRA or 401k into precious metals, all without tax consequence. Call American Alternative Assets at 888, the number 4, Gold 20 to claim your free gold and silver guide today. Again, call 888-446-5360. Individual results may vary. There's no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own legal, tax, investment, and financial advice before opening an account. Yeah, the Democrat Party, from MS-13 to rainbow lanyards at the CIA to the drag show at the home of the fighter pilot, and bring the kids. And CNN's upset that the drag show at the Air Force Base was canceled. They're looking for a villain here. Hey, Chris here with some exciting news. Now you can listen to me live on the WMAL app. Doesn't matter if you're in your car, in the office, on the go. The WMAL app delivers crystal clear around-the-clock news coverage anywhere with cell service or Wi-Fi. So don't miss a second of your favorite shows. Download the WMAL app today on the Apple App Store or at Google Play Store. Also, talking to my friend Vince in Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois, by the way, where I will be on June 8th for a WLS event, dinner and cocktails and a little speaking and talking and good stuff. So go to the WLS website and sign up for the Chris Plant event. It's under events on the WLS website. You got to buy tickets. You got to have tickets for the event. But I'll see you there. Great stuff. But Vince in Chicago sent me the front page of the Chicago Sun-Times today, the Chicago Sun-Times. And the headline is front page, Migrant Crisis Has Council in Chaos. And a homeless advocate woman was there saying you're putting illegal aliens in schools, but not homeless people.
My name is Carolyn Ruff. I'm the founder of Black Lives Matter, Women of Faith. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. So I'm here to stand in solidarity with our homeless people because I advocate for the homeless. I understand that $51 million are going to be voted on today, and I encourage the aldermen to please vote it down.
Say she wants the schools to be opened up for homeless Americans and veterans and people in Chicago. But the Democrats there, because of the Democrat Party's open border policies, are opening up the schools for the flood of illegal aliens instead.
Please do the right thing for the black community, for the brown community, for the community, for the homeless community, and the people that need help mentally. Thank you.
Yeah, that's Chicago, where the city council meeting went a little crazy. Chicago Sun-Times says, raucous debate features shouts, jeers from the gallery, and a few tears. People crying. But alderpersons, that's what they call their city council members, okay, $51 million for asylum seekers. So the woman is a homeless advocate in Chicago, and she's like, you got the homeless people out on the street, but you're opening up the schools and allocating $51 million for the illegal aliens who have been flooding into Chicago, which is not a border city. It's not in a border state. But that's the Democrat Party, and we've got MS-13 butchering 15-year-old boys in Frederick, Maryland. And they're illegal aliens. They're non-citizens. I guess that's apparent, but nevertheless, this is your Democrat Party. And don't forget the drag show for the kids at Nellis Air Force Base. Canceled now, upsetting CNN. Okay, it all makes good sense, doesn't it? Your Democrat Party. And, and the CIA has their rainbow lanyards, and you get a hard time in the CIA headquarters if you're not wearing your rainbow lanyard. And the CIA, when Joe Biden came in, started doing transgender advertising, recruiting advertising for the Central Intelligence Agency, which makes good sense, I think, doesn't it? Also, because Democrats, the headline is Rising Oakland Crime Draws Fervent Pleas for City Action. Violence against women was a recurring theme throughout the night. Women are being assaulted. Let's not sugarcoat this one. One woman yelled. It's another gathering in a theater in Oakland, which is a crime-ridden hellhole, just across the bay from San Francisco, California, which is a crime-ridden hellhole. You see that San Francisco is now doing ads, TV ads, for the first time ever, trying to convince people to come to San Francisco. And the TV ad is full of drag queens, naturally. And that, kind of, shouldn't you be reaching out in that it's their core audience, I guess. Hundreds of Oaklanders demanded answers and action from city leaders on Tuesday night amid recent sprees of violent crime that have increasingly targeted women. It's all women, said one local resident who described being attacked outside her North Oakland home earlier this month. 2 kids beat the beep out of me in front of my house last Monday night, she said. Down to the pavement, punching me, kicking me, dragging me through the street. This is the United States of America in 2023, because the Democrats have decided to demonize the police and glamorize the criminals. And George Soros, who, is he Jewish? Because I think I heard something about that. Has, because any mention of his name is deemed anti-Semitism, right? But a virulently anti-Semitic speech at the City University of New York Law School graduation is ignored by the news media. But these Soros-appointed prosecutors, like in San Francisco, where they had Chesa Boudin, who was recalled because he was so pro-crime and pro-criminal. He, of course, went to Ivy League all the way, was raised by 2 terrorists, William Ayers and Bernardine Dorn, because his 2 cop-killing terrorist parents were in prison. So he had to be raised by 2 other terrorists, radical left-wing terrorists, who were also both tenured college professors, but pay no attention to that. So in Oakland, that's just so crazy. They did not get my purse. I have lungs, and my neighbors heard me, and they came out. I'm almost 60 years old, she said. I'm one of the old women that just got taken down. It's happening everywhere. Now, this reminds me of the violent mob that attacked the 3 Marines, right? And it reminds me of MS-13 in Frederick, Maryland. And it reminds me that Democrats are responsible for basically all of this. And now Lori Lightfoot, the now, thankfully, former mayor of Chicago, the new mayor is no better, Brandon Johnson. He may even be worse. But also in the papers in Chicago today, Lori Lightfoot. She's a POC, WOC, LGBT as well, which is all that's important now. There's your character, your success rate, none of that matters. The headline here is, Lightfoot heads to Harvard. Well, that's perfect, isn't it? Will teach course on leadership. Now, is that satire? Harvard is a dead school. It is, honestly, if you went to Harvard, you shouldn't tell anybody because it's become embarrassing at this point. And honestly, Washington, D.C. is full of Harvard graduates. I've never been impressed by Harvard graduates. Occasionally meet a Harvard graduate that's actually smart and intelligent and possibly even well-educated, but it's not the norm. And now they're hiring Lori after her horrifyingly disastrous tour as mayor of Chicago driving the city down, down, down. Crime is skyrocketing, businesses fleeing, reasonable people, taxpayers fleeing the city of Chicago. It's one of the cities that people are fleeing most. People are fleeing Los Angeles in greater numbers. But then I think Chicago is number 2. San Francisco, people are fleeing. Oakland, people are fleeing. Washington, D.C., our population is declining as well because people are fleeing. Lightfoot heads to Harvard, will teach course on leadership and health policy. What the hell does she know about health policy? What does she know about leadership? That's pretty amazing stuff. Lori Lightfoot at Harvard, because that's where we are in America today.
And I will code what I really want to say to Donald Trump. It's 2 words. It begins with F and it ends with U.
There you go. It's coded. She's clever. She's not bright. She's not smart. She's not capable. She's not successful. She is a disaster. And now she's going to Harvard to teach at Harvard. Elizabeth Warren used to teach at Harvard back when she was a Cherokee Indian. Remember that? That was kind of fun, wasn't it? Yeah, and the migrant crisis in Chicago has the city council in chaos. In Chicago? Yeah, in Chicago. It's a sanctuary city. 51 million. They're opening the schools to fill up the schools and spend $51 million on illegal aliens that have come into. I sure hope a lot of them are MS-13 members because yada, yada. That's your Democrat Party. That's what they're doing to the United States of America. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Joe Biden, you may recall, bragged in 2021, about a year and a half ago. He bragged. He said, nearly 14% of my 1,500 agency appointees identify as LGBTQ. Nearly, it's fairly specific to say nearly 14% identify as LGBTQ. Is that important in some way? Is that relevant to their performance as federal government employees? I'm just curious. I think I want one of those CIA rainbow lanyards, though. That'd be a good political collector's item, don't you think?
I'm also proud to have signed an executive order on my first day in office to combat discrimination against LGBTQI, plus Americans.
He's the president of the United States because Democrats voted for him in record numbers, and he never left his basement. Isn't that amazing? All right, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to Russ calling from Alexandria, Virginia. Russ, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Hey, the rainbow lanyard thing is brilliant in helping the CIA in their recruiting efforts. There's a big push now to go out and hire drag queens as deep cover agents because they're so inconspicuous. No one will ever know.
You can blend in pretty much anywhere.
Just anywhere you go these days. And it's, that's someone you want to drop into North Korea.
A lot of intelligence work to be done in musical theater.
Exactly. Places like Syria, of course, Tehran is, someplace else. It's absolutely brilliant.
It is. You're caught in Tehran, you'll end up hanging from a crane in downtown Tehran.
Well, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it.
That's true.
But it's that's as long as we have equity of being assassinated by crazies. That's what's really important.
By crazies, and Russ, the country has gone mad, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't, Chris. We're looking at mad in the rearview mirror. We're way past that now.
Way past mad.
Yeah, not even in the same zip code anymore.
Yeah,
so,
it's amazing.
You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you, Russ. Thanks for the call very much. Man, oh man. That is so true, so sad, and so true at the same time. Completely nuts. Let's take one more call. We've got we still have other stories and other more audio to get to on what's going on in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Right now, let's go to Justin calling from Wilmington, North Carolina. Justin, you're on the Chris Plante Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. I love your show. While we were, everyone's talking about the debt ceiling and the budget, and I find it interesting how they always don't even mention the financial liability of, say, 10 million illegal immigrants, which I think are going to cost, maybe $10 trillion over 25 years. But then as I was sitting here on hold, I realized maybe the federal government doesn't talk about that and enlighten the people because they're not going to pay for it. It's going to go to the states. And what are these sanctuary states going to do, all the citizens, when their property taxes go up to pay for the children to go to school and their medical insurance goes up when they go to the hospitals and they don't pay? But since you work and you pay taxes and have health insurance, that's going to double. Anyways, nobody speaks about the financial cost. It's going to cost American citizens our prosperity, our property taxes, possibly our homes. The American dream is disappearing without any legislation.
Yeah, and I don't see the Republicans speaking up on these matters either. And, they're afraid, of course, because anyone that speaks up about it is labeled a racist and xenophobe, and, the left hurls insults and smears and slimes at you. But, Justin, people like you and people like me, we actually remember things and we're aware of what the Democrats are up to. You may recall President Obama warning us long ago what they had in store for us.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
And the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes absolutely wild of Democrats. And then he warned us that really English shouldn't be your first language anymore.
Instead of worrying about whether immigrants can learn English, they'll learn English. You need to make sure your child can speak Spanish.
Now, I wish that we didn't have to do this all the time because the radical left and their insane attacks on normal. At the Chris Plante store, we have coffee mugs and T-shirts that say "Remember Normal," because normal is slipping away from us. But I live in Washington, D.C. I've lived here for 30 years. I grew up in the Chicagoland area, where I'll be on June 8th for a big event and dinner and cocktails. Go to the WLS website and get your tickets now. And I love the fact that the country is full of immigrants from all over the world. Washington, D.C., my neighborhood is like the United Nations. My building is like the United Nations, and I think that's great, and I like everything about it. But we have always been very generous, taking in 1 million legal immigrants a year and welcoming the people into our society. And then they assimilate over time and become Americans, which is why immigrants, I think, come here, right? But I played the audio last week for you of the illegal alien along our southern border who is telling America to go screw ourselves and Americans to go screw ourselves and used much harsher language than that he did, and that we need to change our character or he and they are going to change it for us. And that is the Democrat Party's plan, the fundamental transformation of America. And we better learn to speak Spanish because they don't like the United States of America, and they have secured a great deal of power, and they are here to demolish and destroy what we used to think of as the United States of America. Now it's, not USA, it's MS-13A, and that's your Democrat Party mob attacks of Marines on the beach that the media ignores, 15-year-olds being murdered by 5 MS-13 gang members in Frederick, Maryland, not East L.A., and we're told that that's normal. That's normal now. You know why? Because it is. Because the Democrats have made this normal. You know that you can purify the air in your home and get healthy, clean, fresh-smelling air, eliminate odors, kill mold, mildew, bacteria, and viruses. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm Air Purifier uses oxy technology that naturally sends out O3 molecules into the air. O3 molecules seek out odors and pollutants in your home, in your office, and the molecules destroy the nastiness. Doesn't mask or cover up bad odors and pollutants like a spray can. It eliminates them. It's called the Thunderstorm because it purifies the air in your home and provides you with pure, fresh air just like after a thunderstorm. And right now, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for a whole home protection. You're going to get 3 units for under $200. That's a fraction of the cost compared to a lot of other air purifiers that can go for more than $600 each. And they're small. You can hold one in your hand. They're only this big. Put one in your basement, your bedroom, your stinky teenager's room, in your kitchen, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. And with this special offer, you're getting 3 units for under $200. All you have to do is go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in the discount code Chris. That's me, and you're going to save $200. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris, and shipping is free. Yeah, your Democrat Party and their plan for America, the fundamental transformation. English will no longer be useful. I also have I've got a list of things that the government is spending our dollars on, our taxpayer dollars on. The pointless projects put out by Republican Senator Joni Ernst. That's coming up. Okay, let's return to the telephones. I've got the wasted government spending coming up. Millions for the Wuhan Institute of Virology. And for Russia, in addition to Communist China, that's coming up. Let's go to Tony calling from Tampa, Florida. Tony, you're on the Chris Plante Show. Hey, Tony in Tampa, Florida, you're on the Chris Plante Show. Sounds like Tony faded away. He did. He wanted to talk about Byron Donalds, too, and about Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. I know that because it's written on the big board here, because Jasmine wrote it on the big board. And if you call in, you'll talk to Jasmine. She's very smart person. Very good person, too. So, as always, be respectful. She's not a crazy leftist. She's a normal person, Jasmine. She's wonderful. And she's on the phones today. And, Tony wanted to talk about Byron Donalds. And did he show up? Did he ever show up at this thing? No, he didn't show up. Tony went away. That's too bad. We've got more people on the line, but we've got a lot of things to get to. And I want to, U.S. government, here's the headline. U.S. government sent $1.3 billion to China, Russia, for gender equality, cat experiments, and Wuhan lab research. I've got that story coming up for you because these are our tax dollars. And if you want to know why we're currently just about $32 trillion in debt, you know how you spend your whole life paying into the federal government and they'll buy a pair of shoes with what they take from you.